Hello, I'm Bill Labaris. I'm the editorial director of the Enterprise CIO Forum, and I'm fortunate today to be joined by Ralph Laura, who is the CIO of Clorox Corporation, and we're talking about IT and the CIO as business enablers. Ralph Laura, thank you very much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Bill.
If you were to consider a spectrum of IT, if you would, with at one end of the spectrum we have IT really largely in a support role, and at the other end, the far end of the spectrum, IT serving solely as a business enabler or a transformative force in the business, where do you think we're at today?
I tend to think of it less of a spectrum and more of a pyramid, right? So in order to deliver the business value, be a partner, be able to have a seat at the table, so to speak, you've got to climb the rest of the pyramid, right? So you've got to have the table stakes of delivery, operational excellence, cost control, project and program delivery, and so on. And so when people talk about, well, which end of the spectrum are you on? I always find it a little interesting. I think the reality is you've got to do your job well. You've got to run a highly functioning, highly capable organization that delivers technology in a consistent and reliable way. And then you get to go have the other conversation. And so the people that are still in that area where they're mostly delivering technology and aren't having the business conversation about process and value and contribution, I think just haven't finished their journey in building the pyramid. And Clorox, it's an evolution in progress, but we think we're pretty close to the value generating end of the pyramid as opposed to the kind of order taking delivery end of the pyramid these days.
I have to say, Ralph, I do like you thinking more about a pyramid rather than a spectrum in this instance. What in your mind stands most in the way of both IT and the CIO being able to transform themselves along this path to becoming more of a business enabler?
Well, one of the challenges with IT in the business value creation area is we are carrying a lot of operational legacy, be it legacy hardware or software, legacy process, some of it's legacy thinking, and the way we structure and deliver systems and value. And so continuing to challenge ourselves to stay current, to stay close to the business, to understand their needs, and then scan the industry for solutions that fit into that need set, as opposed to solutions that fit our paradigm of how we've structured delivery in the organization. So an example at Clorox is today we have two different business aligned IT functions. One is aligned functionally to the business, so finance, IT, HR, and so on. And the other is aligned really more from a business perspective. So it's aligned cross-functionally, and so its focus is on the general manager role in the business, a GM of one of our business units, who touches all the core functions underneath, but is really trying to figure out how do I bring all those functions to bear in a harmonious way to deliver against my particular business unit's challenge set. And so we've attempted to optimize for both the functional delivery and relationships, so that we build functional depth of excellence, and then also for this cross-functional kind of mashup model where I'm drawing value across the horizon and delivering that.
Terrific answer. Ralph, what technologies or solutions do you think are going to play the most prominent role in the CIO's life as this transition towards the role of a business enabler comes more into a full flower?
Well, we've all been talking about SOA, service-oriented architecture, for a long time now. And I think that's actually one of the technologies that's finally coming into its kind of maturity. Right? So now the mashup model, the ability to take this legacy data and marry it with some newer ways of doing things. People talk about X apps or cross-functional or SOA or composite apps, but they're all talking about the same thing. How do I take features and functions and capabilities from different disparate systems that were designed and operated in different ways and bring them together to create a new and different model of business process or create new insight in the business. So I think the ability to pull and mash together elements of different systems in a meaningful way that is consistent with an architectural model that holds water and so on is really important. So SOA, I think, is at the heart of that ability. I think additionally mobile enabling activity and bringing solutions out to expose them at the right platform at the right point in time are really big factors for folks. And then lastly, I think this the consumerization of IT that people like to talk about is an interesting trend, and it keeps challenging us to think about things in different ways. And a little bit long answer, but an example I'll give is the iPad or the Zoom Android tablet and so on market 2 years ago, if somebody came to you and said, hey, I want to give you a compute device that's a quarter of the computing power, that has an eighth the RAM and a tenth the storage capability, a quarter of the resolution of the device you're carrying around today, will you make that trade? Most people would say no, right? But really what Apple has done and what Android is attempting to do and others is what they've created is a user experience that's different. And I think it reminds IT in a really refreshing way. It's not about speeds and feeds. It's not about technology. It's not about the protocols we support. Fundamentally, it's about the user experience. And as long as we're focused on that, then I think we'll end up in the right place.
Ralph Laura, CIO of Clorox Corporation, thank you very much for joining me here today.
Thanks a lot, Bill. I really enjoyed it.
And I want to thank you for joining us as well. My name is Bill Laberis. I'm the editorial director of the Enterprise CIO Forum, and we'll see you again soon.